You've probably heard the importance of encouraging children to explore STEM interests, that's science, technology, engineering, and math. And now we're adding art to STEAM, right? Well, our next guest knows just how important that is and even wrote a children's book about it. We've got Sylvana Spence. She's the author of Bella the Scientist Goes to Outer Space. She's joined alongside one of her daughters, Victoria Spence, who is a character in the book. How cool is that? And another daughter who is not here right now. But thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
And I love the costume, Victoria. You look great. So cute. Talk about what inspired this book.
We always did, during the summers, we were always doing scientific experiments, right? And Bella and Vicky were always asking me so many questions, and they're so excited. We love science so much. And for every question they had, I was like, well, if we don't have the answer, we need to research. And one of the questions was that Bella asked, do all scientists wear lab coats and goggles? Right? We actually add that question to the book. And I said, well, let's research. So everything was let's research, because that's what science is about, is researching. And with all that excitement of doing the experiments and finding out more, about the scientists, it came up like a huge list. I was like, well, we need to just pick a few, for us to research, and which one would you like to start? And she was just like, I would like to start with the astronomer. I said, okay, so let's start with the astronomer. And as we are researching, about the astronomer and things like that, I was thinking, it was like, wow, this information would look so cool and so cute in a children's book. Right. And then she was like, well, why don't you write one? I was like, sure, that would be cool. Would you be a character? And she's like, yeah. But, as we were writing and working on the book, I would write, stop, and she's like, aren't you gonna finish? And I was like, yeah. And then, aren't you gonna finish? I was like, would you like to help me finish? She's like, sure. And that's when we partner, and work to finish the book.
Yeah, so Bella is co-author of this, the daughter who is not currently with us. But look at the character. We were just seeing the illustration there. That is really neat. So obviously she's asking these really inquisitive questions about science, but why do you think STEM or STEAM interests are so important for children to get into?
I think it's really important because when kids have experiences with science, they have an opportunity to have hands-on experiences. And this is really important for them, and it's something that they can carry on to their lives. It's also important because that is something that they can become a career for them. Right. And that is priceless. You can be doing scientific experiments in your kitchen, at home, and you don't know what you will become in the future. So it's like if you have a child, that the child is always constantly trying to figure out when they mix things what turns into, that is something for you to pay attention and really see. Or if the child's really interested in technology, in art, and in building things. So those are things that, Bella and Victoria were always really interested. And I really try to, to support their interests and make sure that I would carry that into my classroom also for my students.
Because you're a teacher as well. Yes. And thank you for what you do with that.
Thank you.
Talk about, too, using your daughters as characters and representation and how important that is as well. And I'd like to hear a little bit from you, too, Victoria.
Honestly, when we go out and we wear these costumes or these outfits and we go to the events, a lot of kids get attracted by it. They're like, oh my God, look, Mom, Dad, there's an astronaut over there and she looks like me. And honestly, that's what matters the most to people or kids, because when we see someone who looks like us or a mirror, we feel more motivated and we feel inspired to go after our dreams and chase what we think is impossible. And that's really why I love this book. It really shows you can do anything.
Oh, I love that. And it is true. If you see someone else doing it who looks like you, you're more apt to maybe say, okay, well, I can do this too. It is a little bit easier maybe mentally to kind of wrap your head around that. So I know there's a lot going on in the future of Bella the Scientist. This is just the beginning of a series, but there's going to be some events coming up and that kind of a thing. So where can people learn more information on all of that?
Well, they can check us in our social media, Bella the Scientist on Instagram, and there they can find out more where we're going, which events, because we try to keep it updated, and also on Mrs.S. number 4, success. That's another social media that we also keep it updated with information about upcoming events.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. And just really quickly want to touch on, there's activities in the book, lots of things, but really quickly, what is the target audience age?
The target audience, the book is from K to 5th because it covers the standards that wide. Usually when we go to events, we read aloud to kids K to 2, and we do an author talk for 3rd grade and up, like showing the career side of the author, you know, for the book, for the kids that are older.
Love it. Interactive, fun, you're learning along the way, going to have events and more books in the future. Thank you both again so much, and good luck with everything.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course. And if you'd like to see this segment again, just head to our website at firstcoastliving.net. Bella the Scientist Goes to Outer Space is available at Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target, and on Amazon. Silvana, Victoria, and Bella will have a booth at the Melanin Market tomorrow, if you'd like to stop by and say hi.